Okay, guys, welcome back. Welcome back to day 11 of rotational dynamics. Yesterday's class, we barely introduced the idea of rotation, sorry, angular momentum. Like we've talked about angular momentum, how we write angular momentum of a body, about different systems, about different situations. Angular momentum is always written like this. We've already talked about this. And I even talked about this idea, dl bar by dt is also torque, and whenever this torque is zero, whenever the external torque is zero, the change in angular momentum is zero, which means angular momentum must remain constant. Angular momentum must remain constant. If the angular momentum is remaining constant, that's what we call it as a conservation of angular momentum, right? So that is the topic that I discussed yesterday, and I discussed one or two problems there, but I'm going to go really clear, really completely clear today. Okay, we're going to do one by one, small problems. We're going to start from a little problem, and then we slowly go on to all the big problems. All right, so let's start with a very small problem where this is a ring of mass m already rotating with an angular velocity omega. All right, now the question is, when a person of mass, like two persons of masses, suddenly started hanging onto the ring, what is the new angular velocity? Let us call it as omega 1. How much is omega 1? The mass and radius are given, m into r and m and r. What is the new angular velocity? Like the ring was already rotating. Let's just say the men were standing on the ground for a while. This is the question. Okay, suddenly they hopped onto the ring and started rotating along with the ring. What is the new angular velocity of the ring? How are you going to solve this problem? I want a quick answer, guys. Okay. Yeah, if you want to tell me the method also, that's fine. Aniket, yeah, tell me.
Sir, the moment of inertia into that omega for the first one, we can keep it fixed
Yeah,
and
so
equate it with.
initially the men are not rotating, it's just a ring that is rotating. So we can directly write the moment of inertia of a ring mr square into omega. Later, these two men are also rotating, so mr square plus first man mr square. For the second man, it is also mr square into omega dash. You have to equate these two, and that's all. What do you get the angular velocity as? Anybody? Omega by 3. Do you agree, Aniket?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it's a simple problem, right? So the problems don't always go as simple as this. I'm going to give you one more problem. Try to answer it. Try to give me the answer instead of giving me the method. Uh, there is a ring like this, rotating about an axis along the diameter. Rotating about an axis along the diameter. There is a particle here. It's already there. It's also there already. M, small m, small m. The ring's mass is 5m, let's just say. Okay, this is the initial case. Okay. After some time, what happened was these two particles, or whatever you want to call them as small beads or whatever, they slipped here. They slipped here. The radius of the ring is r. What is the new angular velocity? Omega 1. Guys, do it quick and give me an answer. You can take them as a particle masses. Okay, you don't have to take these two as a small things as a spheres or anything. They're particle masses. They're almost on the axis when they are here. So consider that point and give me the answer. Okay, you're taking too much of time already. I can directly give the answer. Yeah, Aniket.
Sir, it's same.
How?
Sir, because the distance hasn't changed, right, sir?
What? How are you so stupid? Previously, this is the distance. Now the distance is clearly decreased. The axis is along the diameter. Did you not see that? I clearly
Oh,
told you. The ring is not like this. This is not the case. If the ring is like this, the axis is along the diameter. That's what I'm telling you here. You get that? Aditya. Aditya?
Sir, 5/2 nu. This sorry, omega.
Omega. 5 by 2 omega?
Yes, sir. You gave that omega value na like if you denoted
Yeah,
with
yeah,
omega.
yeah, yeah.
So
And
I am
what
getting
about it?
mu this omega one as 5/2 omega.
Initially, the ring is rotating about its one of its diameter. I hope you're understanding when I'm saying ring. It's like
Yes,
this,
sir.
and it is rotating about this axis. It's not like this. It's about rotating about this axis. Okay, so make sure you understand that point first of all.
Yes,
And
sir.
we all
That
know the
only
moment of
that is
inertia of a ring about its diameter as mr square by 2.
this
So
by
I'm
2,
writing
sir.
the moment of inertia as 5 mr square by 2. That is for the ring. And then these two particle masses are also rotating initially. So for them, the distance is mr square plus mr square, the total moment of inertia into initial angular velocity omega. In the final case, in the final case, you can consider those particle masses actually reached the axis. So you don't have to consider the moment of inertia of this thing anymore. All you have to do is directly consider the moment of inertia of the ring. That's all, into omega dash. When you do this calculation, mr square basically gets cancelled. So
I
you
did
have
one thing wrong, sir.
5 by 2 plus 2 into omega equals to 5 by 2 omega dash. I'm sorry, you cannot do that. Yeah. So you have 9 by 2 omega equals to 5 by 2 omega dash. So omega dash equals to 9 by 5 omega. Why is your answer wrong, Acha? Aditya, you are wrong,
I took
except
the wrong mass for the ring, sir.
it's fine. There are like
I
100
took the
people.
mass of the ring as M only
There are
instead of
100
writing
people.
5.
There are 100 people who answered this thing. The angular velocity clearly has to increase because the moment of inertia has decreased here. Okay, I hope you get that. The moment of inertia has
Yes,
decreased, so
sir.
the angular momentum has clearly increased. So that is how you simply do this kind of a problem. Chendu, Sai Chendu, what's your doubt? Sai Chendu, you raised your hand and you're gone now. Okay. Doing the next problem. So a similar problem, not completely similar. Let's just say there's a disk rotating with angular velocity omega, and there is another disk on the same axle which is at rest. The same axle, but which is at rest. Okay, so this has no angular velocity. So what happened was I lowered this disk into the other disk. So after some time, they're combinedly moving. After some time, they're combinedly moving with some other angular velocity. I'm not giving you the masses yet. Okay, just take the masses equal, m and m, r and r. What will happen? Immediate answer, guys. Aniket.
Sir, it will become half.
Exactly, because the moment of inertia clearly has doubled. So the moment of the, what do you say? Angular momentum will simply become half. It's a simple problem. There are problems like this in HC Vama, so you make sure you do this kind of questions. I mean, like if there are any. Okay, and according to that, remember the problem where we talked about this problem, where a man is on a flywheel which is entirely rotating with an angular velocity omega. Okay, and the man is holding two heavy masses. Let's just take two dumbbells. This is all the previous case. Okay, they entirely give the moment of inertia of the disk and the man, like entirely this thing and this thing. They directly give it as I, and additionally, the mass of this thing and this thing is are mentioned here, like I m and m. Okay, and the length of his hands are L and L, let's just say. So the whole system is rotating. When he brings his hands closer, what happens? Like, what is the new moment of inertia? A simple idea. What is the new moment of inertia? Like, what's the new angular velocity? Initially, it was I plus 2mr square into omega. That is the initial ml square. I'm sorry, ml square omega. Now, when he brings the entire all the masses near the axis, we simply consider them as point masses. We shouldn't really consider them as point masses, the dumbbells. We shouldn't really do that. But a lot of people just tend to do that. So it's not really in our hands. Okay. So you simply consider that the whole thing is only I now because the masses are on the axis. If only they mention the shape of the dumbbells and the moment of inertia of dumbbells again on their own axis or when they're being brought, they mention that you can take them. If they don't mention that, you simply take the moment of inertia of the whole system as I omega dash. The new angular velocity is omega dash. You simply do the problem and get the answer. That's all. Okay. Uh, this is one type of a problem. Let us look at another problem. Yep, this is good. A disk is at rest. The disk is at rest. There is a particle. Disk's mass is 5m. Let's just say radius is r. A particle of mass m. Observe clearly. Observe. A particle of mass m with a velocity v tangentially comes and sticks to this. The same diagram, it looked a bit smaller, but sticks to this thing, and they're combinedly moving with some angular velocity omega. How much is a new angular velocity? Initially, the disk is completely at rest. There is no angular velocity. It's just a particle came in tangential and sticks to this thing, and they're combinedly moving with an angular velocity omega 1. What is the new angular velocity? Does anybody have a method, or do you want me to explain? If you have a method, raise your hand and speak to me right now, immediately. Aditya.
So first I will consider this first case as a rest case, sir. Like the whole angular momentum is 0.
Initially, in angular momentum is 0. Okay.
Yes. And the second case, what I will do is like this V once it comes and stick here. So the omega and V are totally related. But I won't take it directly as it is.
Now, first of
But
all, let me ask you a question, Aditya. First of all, can we conserve the angular momentum here or not?
if there is no friction, we can.
No, there is no friction, but can we conserve the angular momentum or not?
Yes, sir, I think so.
If we can conserve that, initially you say the angular momentum is 0. Initially, the angular momentum you say is 0. After that, there is some angular momentum. Where did it come from? You are wrong. Let Aniket speak.
Sir, angular momentum is not conserved here.
Oh, okay, Aniket, that is a good point. You are saying that the angular momentum is not conserved because there is an external particle came in and applied some force or applied some momentum, applied some jerk, applied some impulse, let's just say. Then external particle came in and gave some impulse. That is why the system gained some angular momentum. Is that what you're saying, Aniket?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a good argument. Now, you are totally right. But if we do what you just did, taking the impulse into consideration and all, the problem gets a little difficult. It gets longer. I consider there is an easier method saying this whole thing is a system. This whole thing is a system. The particle and the disk are a system, and there is no external force. So yes, the angular momentum is conserved. Initial I omega, I1 omega 1, I2 omega 2 are conserved, are the total L initial, L final are equal, but you are still confused. How can they be equal, right? Because it doesn't really seem like there is no angular momentum initially. But can anybody tell me? I'm saying that there is some initial angular momentum and there is some final angular. There is some initial angular momentum is not 0. Can somebody tell me how we are getting some initial angular momentum? Aniket, it is again. Anybody else? Yeah, tell me.
Sir, the particle that is moving, we can take angular momentum along that point.
Exactly. I clearly mentioned that to write the angular momentum of a particle, we doesn't really have to go in a circular motion. It just needs to have some perpendicular distance from the axis. Now let's look at the top view of both the situations. I'm looking at the top view. So from the top view, this is the disk. This is a disk and this is the axis. The particle m came in with a velocity v. and after the collision, they both stuck and they're combinedly moving with angular velocity 1. Now, the disk doesn't really have initial angular momentum. I agree, the disk is not rotating, but this particle, it already has angular momentum. And in that situation, I already told you, all you need to do is take that linear momentum, write the perpendicular distance. So there is some initial angular momentum, which is nothing but like L bar equals to R cross P bar. You have to write that. Let's just say R cross P bar for the particle, I omega for the disk. This is 0 since the disk doesn't really have any angular momentum. So R cross P is the perpendicular distance. Since they are perpendicular to each other anyway, you don't really have to write the cross product and all. They're already perpendicular to each other. So I'm directly writing R into mv. So the disk and the particle system initially has an angular momentum mvr. The disk and the particle system initially has an angular momentum mvr. Now they're combinedly moving. L initial, this is L final, this is. Now that they're combinedly moving, I'm going to write the moment of inertia of disk. What's the mass is given? It is 5m here. Yeah. So the mass is 5m. So the disk moment of inertia 5m r square by 2 plus the particle is just rotating about its axis. Now I'm directly writing as mr square, the total moment of inertia of the system, disk plus particle into omega 1. I have to equate these two, that's all. Let's just stick to one m, okay, capital M or small m. Let's not confuse ourselves. If I write small m anywhere, just ignore that. Just capital M everywhere. So initial angular momentum is mvr, final angular momentum is 7 by 2 mr square into omega dash. So r cancels, m cancels, omega 1 equals to 2v by 7r. This is the answer, guys. This is the angular velocity with which it is going to rotate. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, what if the particle is not a point mass?
It gets difficult. It gets really difficult. I already told you, like if the masses which are not particle masses and above, I mean not particle masses and are away from the axis, to write the angular momentum of those systems, it's not really difficult. It just takes an additional explanation. I am not ready to do it yet. Okay, you need to understand these problems so that we slowly get there. First of all, did you understand this part?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if this is clear, I'm going to give you one simple problem. I want an immediate answer. No gravity at all. A rod is hinged. A rod is hinged at the middle. Okay, and rod's mass is 3m. Let's just say length is L. Obviously, hinged at the middle. One particle mass of mass 2m coming with velocity v. Another particle mass. Okay. First of all, find the once it comes here and after collision, it sticks to this and combinedly move. What is the new angular velocity? Tell me the answer. What is the new angular velocity? Like this is, they rotate with an angular velocity omega. What is the angular velocity? Try to give me the answer as quick as possible. Okay, Mazida already have an answer. First one to give me an answer. Any more answers? Anybody? Let's just check.
Sir, 4v by 3l.
No. Aditya gave a different answer. Mazida gave a different answer. Sai Harshita gave a different answer. Everyone is giving different answers. Maybe some of you people took masses or moment of inertia wrong. That is a possibility. Mazida changed the answer. Basically, I got 7 different answers right here. 8 different answers. Beautiful. I got 8 different answers from 8 different people. Let me do the calculation. I mean, I'm sure you did the process, right? Maybe when you're writing the moment of inertia or masses, you could have gone wrong. That is a chance. There's a chance of that. Okay. Okay, I got another different answer again. Okay, stop doing that, people. Okay, let me check it. Uh, Obviously, even though it is not rotating, there is some initial angular momentum and there is some final angular momentum. Since I'm considering this whole thing as a single system, these two are equal. Okay, I hope you get that point. Now, the rod doesn't really have an initial angular momentum, so it's just a particle. Now, when the particle is going, it is going at a perpendicular distance of L by 2 from the axis of rotation. Okay, L by 2 from the axis of rotation. So 2m L initially equals to mvr, right? Mv into perpendicular distance. Mv into perpendicular distance. Oh, I'm sorry. Mass 2m into v into perpendicular distance. How much is the perpendicular distance? L by 2. This is the initial angular momentum. I hope you all get this clearly. 2m into v into perpendicular distance. That is the initial angular momentum. Plus I omega is 0, but that part is 0 because the rod is not initially rotating. Now that it is stick to this thing, L final will be, first of all, the moment of inertia of the rod. The rod has a mass 3m. A lot of people might have taken it wrong here. And the rod is hinged at the middle. I hope you know the moment of inertia, 3m into L square by 12 plus the particles at a distance L by 2. It's basically mr square. The mass is 2m, r is L by 2 square. ml square by 12 plus mr square. That's what I wrote. I hope you're clearly getting that. Mass ml square by 12 plus mr square. That is the moment of inertia into omega 1. Okay. So initial angular momentum is basically mvl. mvl. Final is, let me take the calculation, 3 ml square by 12 plus 2 ml square by 4 into omega 1. So this gets us 12, 3 plus 6 ml square, omega 1, L cancels. So mv, m also cancels. 9 by 12, which gives us omega 1 equals to 4v by 3 L. 4v by 3L. Okay, Aditya gave the answer. Aditya gave the answer. That's good. 4v by 3L. Let's check. Somebody else also gave the same answer. No. Nobody gave the answer. It's just Aditya who gave the answer. Or Aniket. Aniket, you gave the right answer.
Yes, sir, I told 4b by 3L.
When did you say that?
Sir, you told it's wrong.
Are you? Oh, I'm sorry about that then. Guys, did I make any calculation mistake or is it actually right?
No, sir, it's correct only.
Right, yeah. A lot of people got different answers, and I believe the reason is very simple here. Okay, the reason clearly is nothing but you might have considered this thing as like the mass is wrong or the moment of inertia is wrong. So a lot of people commit mistakes there. So it's totally fine. Okay, let us try another problem here. Now you might get a doubt saying, what if the particle not sticks and what if more things happen and all. We are going to get those problems like that right now. Okay, there are more and more complicated. We've gone through the topic of collisions. Remember that topic of collisions, like inelastic and elastic collisions. There are collisions in this topic. Okay, and trust me, the collisions in this topic are such a pain. Like they are so painful. There is just so much to do in those problems. But before we get there, we need to we need to know the basics. Okay, we need to simply know the basics of how to write the angular momentum, how to conserve the angular momentum. That's all. Okay, let us look at a new problem here. Now there is a disk again at rest The disk is at rest, and a man is standing on the disk, a mass m. Disk's mass is 5m. Okay. Man is standing, everything is fine. Now the man is okay, fine. The man's mass is m, and he's holding a ball of mass m by 10. I'm randomly taking this value. Who's holding a ball of mass m by 10. Sharath is asking, in the previous problem, was this an inelastic collision? Yes, it definitely is an inelastic collision. We've talked about inelastic collisions where the particle simply sticks. It was an inelastic collision, but Sharath, don't get into the collisions topic yet. Okay, you need to clearly have some idea about what is happening here. Okay, so let's just completely discuss this. So there is a disk of mass 5m, and a man of mass m is standing on the edge holding a ball of mass m by 10. A ball of mass m by 10. Now he simply decided to throw the ball. The ball flew. Suddenly the size of the ball is increased. It's fine. The ball flew with a velocity v. So when he threw the ball, there will be some recoil. So because of the recoil, the man and the disc started rotating in the opposite direction. The man and the disc started rotating in the opposite direction. 5m and okay. Now what is the recoil velocity? The ball which he threw, actually he threw it tangentially only. Like we need to mention that when the ball was thrown tangentially, so he simply recoiled. What is the what is the recoil angular velocity, you can say?
So is the ball a point mass?
Yeah, the ball is a point mass. That's a good doubt. Yeah. So the
Thank you, sir.
ball is a point mass. Try to do the problem. I'm going to give you a
P
minute.
by 60.
What?
P by 60.
You got the answer already?
Yes, sir. I just did like MB by 10 is equal to 6m into
When b by 10
the
equals,
linear velocity, sir.
how can you equate linear momentum to angular momentum, you stupid boy?
I just guess it might come.
No, it's not wrong. It's wrong. Try to do it. Try to go to the upper view, top view. It gets easier. Okay. Try to go to the top view, and the problem gets much easier. Trust me. Okay. Just try to give it a time. Give it a minute, and I'll explain it to you. Any answers, anybody? Are you finding it really difficult to do? I will explain it. Okay, like don't go put yourself in a way. Okay, Sharath already gave the answer. Ganesh gave the answer, but the answers are not matching. They have different answers here. Let's check what's happening here now, guys. First of all, I'm considering the entire system as a single system. Even though the ball is thrown, it is a part of a system only. Initial angular momentum was 0. Final angular momentum must also be 0. You get that? You need to get that clearly. Initial angular momentum was 0. Final angular momentum must also be 0. So let us look at the problem in the top view. In the top view, the ball, 5m, m by 10. Everyone is basically at rest. So initial angular momentum is 0. This is Li. I'm writing final angular momentum. Clearly watch, guys. The body m by 10 flew with a velocity v, and the disk recoiled backwards with a velocity omega. When I'm writing the angular momentum, clearly watch. From the axis, if I extend mv, This is the perpendicular distance. So for the particle, angular momentum was mvr, m by 10 into v into perpendicular distance r. The direction of the angular momentum, since if I consider it, the direction of angular momentum is out of the paper. For the disc is rotating. Try to fold your fingers along with the disc. Try to fold your fingers along with the disc. The angular momentum is into the paper now. So for the disc, angular momentum is minus I omega. For the disk, the angular momentum is minus I omega. For the particle, mvr plus m by t. So I'm going to write it clear, m by 10 into vr. Oh, I'm sorry. The disk and the man also. So this moment of inertia has to be of disk plus man. Okay, I forgot the man completely, the poor guy. So I'm going to continue here. M by 10 vr minus, I'm considering the man as a particle mass here. We just have to do it. Otherwise, they have to mention whether the man is a cylindrical body or not. You don't consider that. So the disk moment of inertia is mr square by 2. Disk's mass is 5m, man's mass is m. So I'm writing the disk moment of inertia 5m r square by 2 plus man's mass is m. So mr square into omega. I hope you're getting, this is the particle, this is for the disk plus the man system. And there is a minus because the disk and the man has an angular velocity like this, which is into the paper. So I'm considering into the paper as negative. And the angular momentum of a particle is positive, which is equal to 0. So I send one of those quantities to the other side, mvr equals to, this is 5 mr square by 2, right? So which is 7 mr square by 2 omega. Cancels, r cancels, omega equals to 2v by 7r. Not a single person gave the right answer. Did I miss something? Oh, of course, I missed a 10 here. I'm sorry, guys. So there is a 10 here, 2 5. So v by 35r. And some people are saying it is a negative value. Some people are saying it's a negative value. It's totally fine. You can write a negative value. I mean, like if they gave both the positive and the negative options in the multiples, you have to go for the negative value, minus v by 35r. You're clearly mentioning that it's a negative value. Aniket, what is it?
Sir, can't we just find the linear momentum and then divide the v by r and get
Wait, first of all, how are you equating linear momentum to angular momentum? Stop doing that.
Sir, because at the instant when the man is throwing that ball, the ball also has linear momentum, man also. So
Man doesn't
at
have
that
man doesn't have linear momentum here. The man is already set in rotational motion. The man is already rotating about the axis. Even though right after the ball is left, the man and the disc already is set in a rotational motion only. They are going in a circular motion clearly. He's not going linearly. So you cannot call it as a linear motion. Oh, a lot of people gave the answer. Oh, fine, guys. Whoever got the answer as v by 35, you're right. Okay. So a similar question is there in HC Verma, except the man starts running on the disk with v. Man starts running on the disk with v. So with the man running on the disk recoils with angular velocity omega. Initially, both are at rest, so initial angular momentum is 0. Final angular momentum, you write it and you can get the answer. Okay. And there is a question where the disk is at rest, the man jumps off. The man jumps off, the disk recoils. Aditya, I don't understand what you're saying. Sir, you won't ask the day. I think it will be 11th day. I don't get what you're saying. Anyway, let me get back to the point. So the man jumps and the disc recoils. There are problems like this. And there is a problem where a disc is just at rest. A man comes in running and jumps onto the disc and they combinedly rotate. I hope you all can do all the kind of problems now. All you have to do is simply write the angular momentums. The new problem, the twisty problem in this thing is the disk is at rest. The man is standing on the disk at the center. He holds an umbrella. He holds an umbrella. Sumantraj, what is it? Sumantraj, what is it? I unmuted you. Ah.
I have a doubt, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, what if we do like if we, the man thrown the ball, right, sir? So we can find out the linear velocity of the linear velocity, sir. Like we can equate the linear things and convert that linear thing into orbital rotational thing by doing like v equals to r omega. We can find out omega.
No,
right?
please don't take the linear momentums in this problem. Okay, I mean, you can do that, but that takes a very different path. You don't understand all those things at this point. Okay, please don't take the linear momentums at this point, because there are bodies which are rotating. When the rotation is involved, it is safe to completely go with the rotational motion. Okay, don't ever take a linear motion, a body which is in a linear motion. Okay, Aniket,
So
what
if
is
the total system is
So
at
that
resting.
linear momentum method is giving wrong answer.
Yeah, I told you the linear momentum idea is not right here. The body is clearly rotating there. Okay, so don't do that. Sumant, you're saying something. My Sumant, yeah, what is it? Aditya.
Sir, I want to discuss one case where that previous case only, sir.
Mhm.
But that whole disk is also moving in that way, in a linear way.
Oh, it gets complicated. The disk is also going. The axis is also going with the linear velocity, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we will get there. We will get to those
Sir,
problems. Okay.
So should we
sir,
add that behind, sir, like what we did for pseudo forces?
Let me teach it. Let me take some spare time and explain it slowly. Okay.
Okay, sir.
sir, if the total system is at rest initially, then we can take that linear things, right, sir?
Please don't take linear. Don't. Okay. Now, in this question that is there on the screen, the man is holding an umbrella. Everything was at rest initially. Everything was at rest. What happens was, something happened here. Yeah. What happened was, when the man decided to rotate the umbrella, rotate the umbrella in this direction. When the man decides to rotate the umbrella in one direction, you know what happens? The disc starts rotating in the opposite direction. This kind of seems strange, but it actually happens. It actually works. If you are on a flywheel, no friction, and you start rotating the umbrella in one direction, it's a basic thing, because you are applying some torque on the umbrella. The umbrella is also applying the same amount of torque on you. Now the torque, to balance the torque, you are taking some support from the ground, which is from the flywheel. So you are basically applying some torque on the flywheel again. So it's a very funny way. You rotate the umbrella, the flywheel beneath you rotates in the opposite direction, and which is exactly the reason why in yesterday's situation, when he is rotating it horizontally, the wheel's angular momentum, like, now he stopped. But in this situation, what exactly is happening is, let me show it to you. Let me take a screenshot and show it to you. Okay. In this situation, the wheel is rotating in this direction, and the stool he's sitting, it is rotating in the opposite direction. Basically, to balance the entire angular momentum, to bring it to zero, when he's holding it horizontally, that nothing's happening. But when he's turning it, the minute he's turning it, the wheel is putting some torque on him, and he is putting some torque on the stool that he's sitting on. It's a very, very complicated process to explain, but it is magical. Trust me. Aniket, what is it?
But when he is holding it horizontally, then why is it not rotating?
There is no horizontal angular momentum balance, right? There is no horizontal moment. When he's holding it horizontally, there was no angular momentum in this. There is no horizontal there is no angular. Let's say in this case, okay, let me take a screenshot. Let me take a screenshot and explain it to you. Like when it is like this, okay, this is a rotation. So the angular velocity is basically like this. So vectorially speaking, L bar is like this. Now, because of this L bar, there is some force which is actually trying to rotate him like this, like vertically backwards like this. It's as if he has to go forward like this. Okay, so there my screens has stopped. Screen share hanging has stopped. Let me share it again. Just give me a second. Okay, so when it is vertical, when it is vertical, when it is vertical, yeah, let me draw the axis of rotation. This is the axis of rotation. This is, let us just say, this is the angular velocity. Like this is how the body is rotating. So we can say angular velocity direction is like this. Okay, now there are forces which are actually pushing him to rotate in this direction, like backward direction in this situation. Like since I'm considering the wheel's angular velocity forward, there are forces which are actually trying to fold him backward. But since he's rigid and he's not rotating in this direction, nothing is happening. But the magic is happening when he does this. And he does this, let me show it to you again. Yeah, exactly. At this point, clearly he is going that way, which means the wheel is definitely going in this direction. Okay, I hope it is clear, Aniket, now. Aniket, if it is clear, yeah. You still have a doubt, Aniket?
No, sir, it is clear.
No, so this is the beauty of this whole thing, the idea about angular momentum. Okay, so in that problem in H.C. Verma, he clearly asks that the initial angular momentum of the whole system is 0. So Li is 0, Lf should be 0. So what you do is simply take the moment of inertia, I mean angular momentum of the umbrella, I umbrella into omega umbrella in one direction. I flywheel, I disc plus a man, I disc plus man into, let us just call it as omega 1, omega 1. And you put a minus to either of those things and you will get the answer. Suman, do you still have a doubt? You forgot to lower your hand. So this is a quite an interesting question again. Sumant, do you have a doubt? Okay. Sumant, what is it? Sumant. Okay. Late. So yeah, we need not consider the man. No, we should consider the man. What do you mean we don't need to consider the man? We have to consider the man. The man has a moment of inertia about the axis. If they say the man is a particle mass, yeah, you can consider that he's not a part of a system. But yes, the man will clear. If the man is not rotating, that's a different case. He clearly, he watched this thing. The man is also rotating here, and he's doing this. The man and the stool both are combinedly rotating, and the wheel is going in the opposite direction. So yeah, it is quite important. You need to follow that. All right. So that's it, guys. That's it with this idea. Let me check a few more problems. Yeah, I wanted to discuss this thing also, right? Angular impulse. So you try to do those problems now. Like let's just try more problems on the angular momentum. The angular momentum topic is not over. There is more to talk about it. But as we move into the further topics, you'll get it. Let us talk about angular impulse. We've all known this. A body is at rest. You give an impulse immediately. After the impulse, the body starts immediately starts moving and all. We've talked about it. You can either accelerate a body slowly. So the force into time graph and all, we've talked about it. I can give a constant force for a time and I accelerate the body to a specific velocity v. I can do that. Or for a very small amount of time dt, I can give immense amount of force immediately and make the body immediately go with a velocity v, right? So the same thing, this impulse, we already know this thing. This is nothing but a linear impulse. J is a linear impulse. I don't remember the word for angular impulse. Let's just leave it. Anyway, like whenever you have a disk hinged at the middle and you give a linear impulse j to this thing, we simply consider the angular impulse it gained is, you gave it to is j into r. The angular impulse that you gave it to is j into r, and it immediately causes the disk to gain some angular velocity. A disk is at rest, let us just say a disk is at rest, and you give a linear impulse that is converted into angular impulse because it is hinged here. So because of this angular impulse, the disk immediately starts set into a angular velocity, and people will simply write it as the angular impulse J into R is nothing but I into omega. The angular momentum it clearly gained. Just like the linear momentum gained J equals to mv, we used to write this thing. The linear momentum gained is because of the impulse, and the impulse is nothing but linear momentum gained. Like mathematically, the linear momentum is nothing but impulse. Here, the angular momentum is nothing but angular impulse. So this is also an important idea. You can write, you can remember this idea also, angular impulse. So we can talk about this also. I mean, there are some problems about the angular impulse also. Tomorrow will be a different discussion. Tomorrow will be an important discussion. So buckle up for tomorrow. We will be talking about more about angular momentums, and I will be talking about angular kinetic energy, which is nothing but rotational kinetic energy also. Aniket, what is it?
Then with this impulse idea, we can do that linear momentum method, right, sir?
No, you cannot, because it is hinged. It is hinged here. Okay. The system will not get a linear velocity or linear momentum. The system is hinged there. The disk will not get a linear momentum. The disk simply gets an angular momentum. Remember that.
Okay, sir. So with this, we could do that same problem, sir.
Yeah. All you need to do is simply write the angular impulse and write the angular momentum. That's all.
Okay, sir.
Okay. That's it, guys. So I wanted to just convey all these ideas today. Now you can happily do all these problems. Like I'm pretty sure you can solve 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58 also you can solve. Coming to this side, maybe you can solve up to 60, 61, 62, but once you get to 62, 63, 64 and all, it gets a bit difficult. It's totally fine if you don't get these problems. I'm going to slowly explain this. And if you're finding these problems difficult, I'm totally suggesting to go to the DPP. It's an 81 pages of DPP. I don't remember the number of pages, I don't even know. I slowly suggest you to go to the exercise 1, go to the exercise 2, solve the problems one by one. And even people who are able to solve HC Verma problems, I'm suggesting you to solve the DPP, putting a time limit. Let us say there are 40 problems in exercise 1. Okay, there are 40 problems in exercise 1. I want you to completely solve those 40 problems in like 1 hour. Okay, I will tell you how to do it. Okay, I'll tell you in a separate session, in a message. Let's just end this session for today, and we meet the session tomorrow. Okay, any doubts just regarding today's class, please raise your hands. Any doubts just regarding today's session? There isn't anything. Sai Vamshi, yeah, tell me.
Sir, in the umbrella problem,
Yeah,
if the boy caught in another hand another object, what happens?
what I didn't get it.
The boy has caught the umbrella in another one hand, no, sir.
Mm-hmm.
In another hand, another object like a heavy mass.
You have to take the moment of inertia of that boy also. That's all.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
So that's it, guys. That's it for tomorrow. So that's it for today. We'll meet in tomorrow's session. All right. Thanks so much, and bye bye.